Yes, we are ready. Okay, everybody, we are going live into Al Jazeera. Silence your mobile, please. Okay. Okay, stand by. Waalaikumsalam, brother. I'm from Kuala Lumpur. We are ready, brother. Yes, brother. Mic, okay. Just give me check sound, test sound.
Test 1 2. Testing 1 2 from KL. Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2. Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. This is a sound test.
Stand by. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and on it.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your presence today and welcome to the World Press Freedom Day. My name is John Anthony and I'm from Al Jazeera, Malaysia. I'm thrilled to be your MC for this evening. On behalf of Al Jazeera Kuala Lumpur, we would like to extend a very warm greetings to all of you. Selamat datang. Today is a special day. Today is about paying homage to the media industry for their fought the good fight and kept the faith for freedom and bravely pursued the truth. The United Nations General Assembly declared May 3rd as World Press Freedom Day in 1993. This date now marks a global observance to highlight the essential role of free journalism and remind nations of the need to respect and promote freedom of expression. It also serves as a reminder to governments of the need to respect their commitments to press freedom. It highlights a basic truth. All freedom depends on press freedom. Over the years, the day has become a platform to celebrate journalistic achievements, remember those who have lost their lives in the pursuit of truth, and discuss media challenges. The history underscores the ongoing struggle for a free press, vital for democracy and human rights. The press is responsible for reporting the truth, which has the ability to create and mold people's opinion all across the world. A free press holds that is in power accountable, therefore safeguarding its freedom is important. Press freedom around the world has been deteriorating for years, with censorship and threats against journalists on the rise. The number of imprisoned journalists as well as those killed for doing their jobs has been growing on a uphill. Lives lost and sacrificed for the truth, with this being just most recent example of what has been ongoing threat against members of media. However, Courageous journalists around the world have shown time and again that they will not be silenced or intimidated. While today is an opportunity to celebrate the fundamental principles of press freedom, it is also an occasion to take a closer look at press freedom around the world and also to pay homage to reporters, journalists who have lost their lives in line of duty. All too often, media personnel find themselves in the line of fire and don't get the credit they deserve. We honor all the journalists, reporters, and media workers who bravely pursued the truth. Everyone should care about press freedom because the press cares about everyone's freedom. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information, ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. Today and every day, we must all stand with journalists around the world. We must all speak out against those who wish to silence them. And we must all continue to support a free press that is essential to our democracy and democracies everywhere. Now, with much honor, I would like to call upon Mr. Sami Alawi, who is the Al Jazeera KL Bureau Chief, to the podium for his opening remarks. Let's put our hands together.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, everybody here. When I was thinking to be a journalist, when I was 23, 24 years old, I was thinking looking for a very comfortable, good earning job. But several years after that, I find myself shouting, journalism is not a crime. Journalism is not a crime. And since that time till now, every day I'm saying that journalism is not a crime. And when the time passed, I'm seeing that since 7 October till now, in Gaza, which is a small area in Palestine, almost every day we have one journalist, we lose one journalist every day. One journalist every day, almost more than 200 journalists killed in Gaza Strip in the war. Since by the killing of those journalists is deliberately done by the Israeli forces. Sometimes they call them, they warn them, they kill them. Sometimes they kill their families. And we have good examples that before that, targeting journalists in Palestine is not new. We have example of Shirin Abu Akleh, who has been killed 2 years back, and after a few days we will have the second or third memorial of her death. And the Israelis, they confirm that it has been targeted by some of the soldiers, but they refused to open criminal prosecution or criminal investigation for her death. We are in this war in Gaza. I'm focusing on Gaza because this is the genocide still continuous. The people of Palestine is not only journalists who have been killed, also those people, the families of journalists. Human rights organizations has been targeted. The people who are working in the humanitarian assistance also have been targeted. Everybody there is a target. So for us in 3rd May, we have to raise our voice to stop killing the journalists because they are only eyewitness on the situation that they are covering. They don't have guns in their hands. And we saw before that, many countries have been suffering from the killing of journalists, but the size and the determination to kill the journalists not seen in the history of journalism forever. Since I was working in hostile areas in Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Palestine, but we did not see or notice any kind of target of journalists like the things happened by the occupation forces of Israel in Palestine. So we are speaking about liberation, we are speaking about freedom, we are speaking about democracy, and if there is no journalists, no journalism, no free media, we have no freedoms, we have no democracy, we have no human rights. The key factor in human rights is journalism. When you kill a journalist, it means you are killing all the people. When I heard yesterday that the Israeli cabinet is discussing to ban Al Jazeera in Palestine, so the things came to me. So are you going to commit more crimes, more genocide? You want to silence the people? You want to silence the media? And you to be free to do whatever you want without questioning? Nobody can question you. So whenever, that's the history, whenever some authorities want to commit something or to hide something, the first thing they come to do is to silence the media. And planning to ban Al Jazeera or any other organization means that you have bad intention in your mind. Genocide also can come to journalism. When you are killing the people, you are silencing the media, you can kill the people and you can make the ethnic cleansing that you are looking for and you are searching for. So to stop ethnic cleansing, to stop genocide, to stop crimes, war crimes, we have to be free journalism, free media. We have to protect the journalists in the war zones of war, and the hostile places. This stage is open for everybody of you. Anyone can speak, and I'll take the opportunity to invite Chico Azmi Abdelhamid, who is the head of MABIM, the Malaysia NGO, or the consultative council of the Malaysian NGOs, to speak in this occasion.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Thank you, Sami. I feel profoundly touched by this occasion. I've never been in anything close with this so-called industry of the media. But media has been the life of all my work for the last 50 years in so many issues that we bring up from the NGO. When I come to think about this world press freedom, the real meaning of freedom is about truth. And those who carry the message of getting messages across, news reaching out, it's about telling the truth. That is the essence of freedom. When you kill a person who carries that news, then you are killing the messenger. We are talking about people around the world at this age, that one of the most important things that we should observe and try to protect in this so-called civilization era, modern and whatnot. It's about the way that we give space for news to come out and for truth to be known. And this is exactly what is not happening. And there is a very clear intention of not allowing the freedom of the press to become a norm. What is happening now? Freedom is curtailed, and it makes freedom a very unusual and very abnormal And this is a task of all of you who are here. Those are having this profession of being a press. I'm not going to deliberate more. As an organization, we call MAPI, we have been engaging with the press in every single thing that we do, because whatever things that we do, whether it's small or big, it's the press that becomes the deliverer. It's the press that tells people about why we are doing this, what is our objectives, what is our mission. Now, when I relate this to Samir's just short speeches now, what we are witnessing in Gaza is undescribable, and we are almost worthless. We don't know what to say anymore. You talk about genocide, it's blatant. You talk about ethnic cleansing, it's very clear. You talk about massacre, it's obvious. You talk about killing aid workers, press, health workers. It's so blatant and brazen. And now they want to block all the news, all the photographs, all the pictures, all the words, all the cries, all the screams, not to be heard by the world. And we know very well the meaning and the intention of this, that what's happening in Gaza, or even other parts of the world, is just about blocking the truth to come out. And I admire and I give great salute to people like, we have these figures from Shireen to Samir to Hamza and many, many more, untold individuals who have given their soul just to convey to people that this cannot be hidden. This must be told, and this consequence of it is that somebody must be held accountable. Somebody must be punished. The agencies that are supposed to protect, from the biggest organization called the United Nations, or any small groups, they cannot just become observers and also just following news. Your news, the press, your footages, your words, your commentaries. And when I observe one of, every time if I turn on my TV or my handphone, Al Jazeera would be the only one that I just, refer to. And when the faces have become so familiar, those are giving comments and all that, I was just astounded that these people are right in the ground zero. They are really giving their lives. They are at the most highest risk, and they keep on doing it. And their children are being killed, their wives are being killed, their homes are all destroyed, and yet they are there, right on the spot. Let me just conclude. I've issued a statement I've sent to Samir. I don't want to read about this. It's very clear. The demands are of full protection of all journalists, full protection. There are international law, there are conventions, there are all statements about the right to protect journalists. We are demanding that. We are demanding that all governments, not only to keep to their words, that press is part and parcel of nation building, of building peace, of protecting the dispossessed, of fighting against tyranny. It's all from you. That's why my final word is this. Today is called World Press Day, and I think it's not about only today. This press freedom will never be just this day. It has to be an everyday event. It has to be every moment, every minute, that you are the frontliners, you are the people who are not in the confrontation of missiles, cruise missiles and drones, but you are the real fighters, because that's how the global consciousness now has awakened to an, I know, this is really something so new, from campuses to campuses, from cities to cities, from parliaments to parliaments, from streets to streets. People are coming out because you did the most important work of delivering the truth. Congratulations. Thank you so much. We are all with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Azmi Abdul Hamid. And when I speak about Malaysia freedom, I found Sheikh Azmi Abdul Hamid everywhere. When we are speaking about freedom, those people suffer in Myanmar. He is there. Sometimes when something happened in China, he is there. Sometimes in the Arab countries, the Middle East, he is there. So wherever there is suffering, you will find this man, in this age, fighting for the freedom of those people. When it comes to journalists, he is also fighting for the freedom of the journalists. Thank you, Ustad. I would like to hand over the mic to any one of you gentlemen or ladies to speak on this occasion. Okay, Mr. Zuhri Yuhi. He is also an activist, and he is concerning a lot about the situation in China, Uyghurians. Please, you are most welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, brother. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un is something that we say too many times lately. Isn't that right? So even saying that right now triggers something. Where you see children, journalists, and and I'm just concerned some of our journalist friends, would suddenly read their names in the news. So I'm Zuhri, Secretariat at the Uyghur Care International. I am very grateful and very surprised that I'm allowed to speak freely today. Because when it comes to the issue of the Uyghur and China, I'm saying that out loud this time freely, without concern of self-censoring. I'm speaking on behalf of the Uyghur people. To be absolutely transparent, I am Malaysian Malay. When I put on this dokwa, people think I'm Uyghur. Either way, I'm honored. Speaking about self-censorship, on the trip that I was taken to by the Malaysian Embassy of China, People's Republic China Embassy in Malaysia, took us on a trip to Beijing, Urumqi, and Kashgar. There was a media organization, a Malaysian organization. I was glad at that time that a media organization joined. Unfortunately, a lot of things that happened was self-censored. A lot of the heated debates between myself and the chairman of Religious Affairs of China was not shown. Only happy things was shared back home. So, in that vein, I would like to promote the 3 Ps to protect journalists, which is first P is for prevention, to prevent any harm to coming to journalists. Second one is to protect any journalist on the job is not to be harmed, and according to Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 19, and also prosecution of any harm that has been done onto journalists. So those are the 3 Ps. And a bit more on the Uyghur people is that don't worry, Uyghurs. I mean, the world is still with you. Although a lot of the light is now mainly shown onto Palestinians. Palestinians are in solidarity with Uyghurs. Uyghurs are in solidarity with Palestinians. Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zuhri. I would like to invite Brother Javeed Rahman from Channel 92 of Pakistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everyone. Thank you very much, Al Jazeera, and thank you very much, Brother Smear, for organizing such an important event. Freedom of press, we speak every day, everywhere, every moment. But practically, we are facing a lot of challenges. Like our brother Samir described what is happening in Gaza. Every day, a journalist is being killed. It is happening everywhere in the world. I remember few decades ago, I'm talking about my country, our press was very free. But when these particular mafias realized who is delivering the truth to the people, to the nations, they are journalists. So they wanted for a compromised truth to become out. The journalist didn't compromise. Our very famous anchor, analyst Hamid Mir, he survived a murder attempt a few years ago. Arshad Sharif, he spoke the truth. He was murdered. Imran Riaz was disappeared for many years, and many others are still disappeared. So I believe this platform, this forum, hopefully will be the true voice of the press, journalists, analysts, criticists to the world that journalism is not a crime, is a duty, is a performance. If we are honest, we are successful. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Brother Javeed Rahman. Among us, there is one of the biggest scholars in Malaysia, Brother Muhammad, Professor Muhammad Manuti Noor. He was a chancellor of the university. He was serving a lot for a long time in the universities and consultative for the government of Malaysia, and he's among us. I would like to give the stage to him. Also,
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, Brother Samir, Brother Abdul Hamid, and other respected brothers and sisters. I'm glad that today I'm here with Brother Samir organizing a very important event today in the midst of our deplorable situation in the world, in particular the Israel-Gaza war and other places in the world. So that the theme is to accord World Peace Press Day, World Freedom, World Press Freedom Day, namely a very important instrument to speak the truth, and also we have been witnessing sacrifices of a lot of sincere journalists in many wars, and recently a very horrible situation in Palestine, and before that several months one of the lady from the Palestinian, I can't remember her name now. Shireen Abu Adil has been, he was killed. And this is to show that atrocities in the world today need to be rectified, need to be solved in a very unified manner among ourselves, so that we may begin with little works, but it has a great meanings for our future generation. So we need you, and whatever we can do, inshallah, that the world can witness that we still have voices to have humanity in our heart. Dhamir, our dhamir, our conscience should be very, very clear and eloquent to say to the world that we need press, and to assure freedom of the press in order to make the world coming back to the peace situation. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Professor Manoki, thank you very much, and thank you for all the things that you did for your journey of life. You contributed a lot, and I was following that. Even before I came to Malaysia, I was aware of Dr. Manoti and his activities. I would like to, who wants to be next? Kavin, where is Kavin from Jazeera English? Kavin, we want you, we want you. Yeah, you have something in front. Kavin is from Al Jazeera website, aljazeera.com.
Thank you, Samir, and I'll just say a few short words. I'll start with saying this is a supposed day of celebration, I suppose in some ways, because it's World Press Freedom Day, but it's also a day of mourning. As Samir said, almost 200 journalists have been killed in Gaza during this terrible war, this ethnic cleansing and a genocide. But I'd also like to express my, condolences, and then also my celebration, because the journalists in Gaza also won the UNESCO World Press Freedom Award this year for their brave work that they've been doing to document what's been taking place there. So that's my short contribution to today. So the celebration, and also a day of mourning for Palestinian journalists in Gaza.
Thank you very much. Kavin, remind me, when I was arrested by the Israeli forces in 2011, in the cell there was a nurse with me. And that nurse, what was his crime? He was in a hospital working, and somebody was tortured in the hands of the Israeli armed forces, and he's sent to the hospital. He took the pictures and he released the pictures outside. He becomes a journalist, you can see. He was releasing the pictures, and he has been punished because he has been narrating the story of a person, how he has been tortured, and he has been suffered a lot for that person. That man, I'm not aware of his situation, who has been arrested and has been tortured. But the effect of the pictures released from the hospital was very huge, and makes the occupation forces in a critical situation. And the punishment came to, they make the investigations, and they found from where these pictures have been released. I mean that every citizen can be a journalist, can be an eyewitness, and he can fix the situation. That time, what I understand that a lot of pressure put on the Israeli government and the Israeli authorities to stop torturing people. And there was a response from the human rights organizations, from journalists, from nurses, from the people who are working in the health. They say that it is his right to release the pictures or the videos once it was concerning human rights issue. So for us, we can be eyewitness, especially when we have, everybody was having a mobile in his hand, having a camera in his hand, and he can contribute to the freedom of everybody. I want to invite whom can, okay, Brother Muslim Imran, he's from Palestine and he has think tank here. You are welcome to talk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samir, and thanks to Al Jazeera for organizing this important event on this important day. I grew up in Palestine, in occupied West Bank, and I grew up thinking that journalism is a very dangerous job. In many other parts of the world, I don't think people grow up thinking that journalism is a dangerous job. Samir has just mentioned that you actually sometimes choose journalism because of the good career path that you might get in your life. But in Palestine, I remember growing up through the first Intifada in the 1980s, many journalists were targeted by the Israeli occupation forces for covering the developments. And I remember in the early 2000s when the American forces illegally invaded Iraq, one of the main anchors, Tariq Ayoub, Al Jazeera correspondent in Iraq back then, was targeted because he was covering the ongoing war crimes. So it still stuck in my mind that a job in journalism is a very dangerous job. In the early 2000s as well, when the Israeli forces invaded our town in the occupied West Bank in 2002, 2003, they were after journalists, and when they took over control of my town, Hebron, they blew up the local TV station. And I was still young, I was still a teenager, so I was wondering, why would any government blow up a TV station? They could have just closed it. But they intentionally detonated the building from which Hebron News back then was operating. Lucky the editor-in-chief, he wasn't inside. He was taken, I think, into custody. But again, the idea that journalism is a very dangerous job got more reinforced. And of course, growing up, over the years, we saw what has been happening to many journalists everywhere, not just in Palestine, but in many other parts of the world, where whenever they try to speak up truth to power, they become a target. We know of, I believe we all know of Julian Assange. And his main crime is exposing war crimes. We know of what happened to Shireen Abu Akleh. I think a few months ago, probably a year or 2 years ago, we also stood up here in the same venue to commemorate Shireen. Her only crime was covering war crimes. So not only thinking reinforced that journalism is a dangerous job, but also the idea that journalists are courageous people. Journalists in general are heroes. Of course, not those who copy-paste news and publish it without any consequences. That's a different case. And not those who distort reality by fabricating news like those correspondents without mentioning their news agencies, creating fake stories on the day of October 7th onwards, trying to give a really different reality to what has been happening in Palestine for decades. So, although journalism is a dangerous job, I think journalists are heroes. And that's why I probably decided to pick up a job in journalism very early on, a very short stint, right after I finished my first degree. But it was a very interesting job, of course. I worked in an Arabic newspaper here in Kuala Lumpur, but it was not the kind of career I wanted to carry on in. Not because it was dangerous; it wasn't dangerous at all. My job was mainly translating news from English to Arabic, but because I didn't feel the challenge in that context. For those who are in conflict zones, for those who are covering the genocide in Gaza, it is a very challenging job. And they are heroes, and they deserve our utmost respect. But those who are killing them should be brought to justice, and accountability should take place. If the world continues to let Israel, in particular, because I don't think by now, in modern times, any other regime has killed as many journalists as they have. Those who observe what's happening in Palestine should not let Israel continue to break all red lines in not only targeting journalists, like, for instance, the young Palestinian poet Rifat Al-Ar'ir was also a correspondent of Palestine Information Center, who was targeted because of speaking to Western media. The ones committing all these crimes should be brought to justice and should be held accountable. Otherwise, other brutal regimes will start to imitate what is happening in Gaza. It won't be long if Israel is not stopped. It won't be long before other authoritarian regimes or occupation forces here or there start to commit similar heinous crimes. So it's important that they are brought to accountability. And again, I salute all the journalists who are here with us today and all those who are in conflict zones covering news. And I thank Samer for this opportunity. And I congratulate him for all of his efforts. He himself had to pay a heavy price, being locked up by the Israeli occupation forces because of reporting war crimes.
Thank you, Dr. Imran. And when it comes to Palestine, we have long story since the 70s till now. We can count many journalists who have been killed or assassinated in Lebanon or in Europe because they were writing for Palestine. Cartoonists, filmmakers had been killed. Who was killing them? We cannot say who was killing them in the past. We are not the people who are to investigate. But in Gaza today, the killer is very clear. The killer is very clear. No one except Israel who is killing the journalists in Palestine. Now, since 7 October till now, Rifat Al-Ar'ir has studied in Malaysia, and he became famous in his writing because he was good in English, like not like my English. He was talking to the whole people, Muslim people, and he was the main window for the Western media to speak about the situation in Gaza. Because of that, he was one of the first people to be killed in Gaza. Is there anybody who wants to have his own comments? Yeah, or we can finish our session? You're welcome. Yeah. Zaim Suleiman. I know Zaim Suleiman since several years. He graduated from United States, and he understands a lot about the Palestinian issue when he was in the States. And when he comes here, he became an activist. He was in touch with many Jewish people in the Jewish community in the States, as I know from him. And he has a lot of logic why to support freedom of Palestine and today freedom of journalism.
Hi everyone, my name is Zaim Salimon. I'm a social media activist and a member of BDS Malaysia. So I used to study in the United States in New Jersey, Rutgers University. So recently I noticed like the campus encampment has been growing in the United States. I want to really give them a round of applause because of the bravery that they show. Honestly, I believe in two things. I believe in the freedom of speech and I believe in social justice and equality. So what happened currently in the United States is quite worrying because currently they just passed the anti-Semitism bill, which is very, very threatening to the freedom of speech to the Palestinian cause. I feel like the campus encampment that has been growing all over the states, like across the country, it comes on the right time. Because without this, people would not realize that the bill is not something that the people want. Yeah. So also, I realized in the media currently, especially Western media outlets, they have been like quoting people from the Israeli side. They are still playing both sides. They are still like quoting a representative from IDF. They are still quoting, you know, all the settlers, you know, when they are actually the predators. We should like giving them platform to speak. We should like give more platform to the Palestinian people. We should give the Palestinian reporters the platform to speak. And sadly, I noticed also the equality in press freedom is not given to Palestinians. Like when a Palestinian journalist is saying something, I notice the audience or you know the Western media or Western people in general, they still have like doubt or prejudice against Palestinian voices. I noticed like you know when Motas or Plestia or Bisan are giving speeches, Westerners they tend to have doubt, like they have this belief or maybe they are just fabricating things. This is a result of decades of like gaslighting from the Israeli sides. I totally believe that we should give more platform to Palestinian voices, believe them. We should like, you know, believe in the predators, believe in the murderers. We should believe in the victims, okay? So I think moving forward, Palestinian voice should be the center of discourse, okay? So I feel like if we keep asking, you know, we are waiting for Israeli side to investigate, where is the logic in this? It's like asking Hitler to investigate the Holocaust. It doesn't make any sense. So I think it's time for us as, you know, the supporters of freedom of speech to give more platform to Palestinian voice, give them the right to speak, and then actually believe them finally. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sami.
Thank you, Zain. Thank you very much. In the Second World War, one of the conditions that Adolf Hitler put in the war was to close the BBC, shut down BBC. And now, Israelis are still doing the same job. They are putting the condition to close Al Jazeera in Palestine. Same techniques, same mindset. I do not feel different, really, when it comes to genocide. We have to speak out that this killing and mass killings has no religion. It has no borders. Human rights have to be raised everywhere, whether it's in Germany, with the Palestinians, with the Jews, with the Christians. We have to appraise the human rights everywhere. By this, I can say, on behalf of Al Jazeera Media Network, that we will continue to be conveying our mission according to the ethics of journalism and the principles of journalism, and we will convey the realities. At the same time, we will do whatever we can to protect the journalists everywhere and to prosecute the criminals who are targeting journalists, whether in Al Jazeera, journalists of Al Jazeera, or any other journalist anywhere. So we have to coordinate with organizations to defend the journalists all over the world, and we'll keep continue adopting these principles. Thank you very much. Let's see. Anybody want to speak?
No, it's finished. It's finished.
Lim, she is Palestinian, graduated from here, she studied here, and she's also an activist, and she is doing well since I know her, with my daughters, and she was working with them, and she is always also with Al Jazeera. When it comes to any activity, she is always there, especially when it comes to liberties. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, good evening. Actually, everything has been said almost, so I will just go brief and I will have some insights on what's happening and on the Freedom Day of World Press Freedom Day. I would like us to rethink again about the cause of Palestine and the occupation of Palestine, the main thing about it is not only a conflict or a war of power, it's mainly a war of narrative, and that's why they are targeting all these journalists and silencing all the people who are daring to speak the truth. They've been able to mislead their people. I'm talking here about, especially in the US and Europe, they've been able to mislead the people, fake the titles and the context, so people wouldn't know exactly what's happening in Palestine. But now it's so easy for everyone to get to know the truth and to reach for the right information. But what I would like to say more is that we should think about our own role in what's happening now. I mean, the journalists, they have done their part. They have died for the truth. They have delivered the truth. They have been dying to tell us what is happening in Gaza or in Palestine in general. Now, what is for us to do? We know what's happening now. It's a genocide there. What's next? We should always think about the future, like what's the next thing that we should be doing, because they have given us a very heavy duty, and they deliver a strong message. They delivered this message and they paid their blood for this. So I believe it's not enough what we're doing. Speaking, remembering them is something nice, and it's something that we must do, but they should inspire us way much more than that. Inspire us to do actions and make real actions and change in this world, not only holding Israeli occupation or any other entity accountable for whatever they did. We should actually, all of us, not only be also a journalist, but we should do a real action, whether by going to Gaza, going to Egypt, pressuring our government. But I believe this is the only thing that would be will bring them justice. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Aline. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. And we can close up now. And I think we have some tea or something outside to enjoy. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be having a photo shoot in the back, so I would like to encourage all of you to move back and take some pictures.